Alright, we're going to quickly review how to read a contour map. Some of you have been expressing some difficulties with that, so I would like to go over it with you. They are also called topographic maps. So they're actually showing changes in elevation or height, so they're showing mountains or hills. And just by looking over it, we can gather some information. On this map, it says that the contour interval is 10 feet. So meaning that every line increases or decreases by 10 feet in height. So we have one dark line, one contour index line. It's 500. So that must be feet because that's what it's telling us it's measuring in. So this is 500 feet. We can see here that the star or the triangle there actually indicates a peak. And so it must be going upwards in these directions, here, here, and here. So we know that from this point it's going downwards. So we're just going to start by labeling our contour lines. So this is 490. That's right, we're going down by 10. 480, 470, and 460 feet. Now we could go up as well. This must be 510. 520, 530, 540, and you can see the next one has been labeled for me with 550. All of these lines, if you follow them, they always have that same elevation. So let's say I wanted to follow 510. I just keep following that line. It's always going to be 510. It's not going to change. They never cross. They never change elevation. So once a contour line is established, it has the same elevation wherever you see it. Alright, so let's look at some more information we've been given here. We've been given a distance. So if you wanted to know how far something is and you used this as a measuring tool, this distance represents 6 miles. This represents 2 and 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could actually measure distances. How could you use that on the test? Well, you have a periodic table, and on the back of it your reference formulas. You can take that, start over here with 0, and then just mark off. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these would be miles, right? Because that's what it's telling us it's measuring it. And then you could measure any distance. So you could measure from point Y to Z, which would be from here to here. I would say approximately 4.5 to 5 miles. So there you go. That's how you would use that on an actual star test and measure distances. So let's see, what else can we see? Well, if you understand topographic maps, you can see that here, even without them telling you that this is a stream, here is something flowing downhill into the lake, and here's something flowing downhill also into the lake. All right, they're flowing downhill. Rivers and streams flow downhill, not uphill. And you could have seen that by the little V's that streams make in your contour line. They make these little V's. The V's point upstream, opposite direction of the flow of the rivers. So you see these and you could have said, oh look, there's a creek. How do you know that? Well, the V's in the contour line give you that information. Alright. So we see there are 3 hilltops. With this one we're given an exact elevation. Aurora Hill's at 533 feet. Holland Hill looks like is a little bit above that, and Girard Hill is right here. These little dots indicate the points on the map. Maybe they want you to distinguish the elevation for those. I'm not sure. I haven't read the questions yet. All right. Another thing you need to know, close lines. So the closer the lines on a topographic map, for example, right here, you see they're fairly close, right? As compared to here, where they're spread further apart. The distance here is bigger than here. Close lines equal steep hills or steep slopes. For example, it's going up like that maybe, and spread out lines. Gentle slopes. So it might just be going up like that, up the hill. Now, with that being said, the steeper the slopes are indicated by closer lines, the further the lines are apart, the gentler the slope is. So if you're ever asked which one you would prefer to walk and it's saying you're not rock climbing, you might want to pick the one where the lines are spread further apart. Okay, let's see if we can answer some of these questions. It says if someone is standing at the highest elevation on Holland Hill, which is shown by the asterisk. Okay, so this is Holland Hill, then it's indicated by the little star. What elevation might they be standing at? Well, we know it's past the 500 mark, right? And it's going uphill. So it has to be more than 550. It's not on the 550 line. The star for the peak is not on the line. It's above the line. It's not below the line, it's above. So it has to be greater than 550. It has to be greater than that. But it cannot be 560. And the reason it cannot be 560 is there would have to be another contour line for 560 since all lines are counting by tens. So it can only be from 551 to 559. That's all it can be. Okay? So it has to be between these elevations. Okay, here we have a hiker walking from Y to Z. And we want to know the difference in elevation between these two locations. Here's point Y, here's point Z. So point Y is on the line. It's actually, if we follow it, it's on 490. So, I'm going to write this for you guys. Y is equal to 490 feet. And Z is also on a line. So it's one above the blue one I kind of traced earlier, which was 510. So this one must be 520. So Z is equal to 520. They want to know what is the difference between the two. Difference indicating that we need to subtract, right? So what do we have here? And that's it. The difference between the two is 30. It's in feet, so it must be 30 feet. That would be a good griddable if you ask me. So if you had a griddable on that, that is a whole number. Make sure that when you grid that in, you put your 3, 0. You do not have to fill in the other zeros. You do have to bubble in your answer choices, and that would be 30 feet. All right, let's look at the next question. By the way, this is straight out of your packet. If you want to follow along, this is in the reporting category 3 packet. Okay, it says put a triangle on the map in the location where the slope is the steepest. Well, we looked at actually these lines, but look, if you look really, really careful, right in here, there's really, really close lines. This is the steepest area right there. That is where it is. So those close lines right there are way close. So we know if you're climbing up here to this peak, you are pretty much rock climbing. You are going straight up almost. All right. On the map, label the elevation of point A. Well, let's see. Where's point A? It is on a contour line, so that makes it pretty easy. It's 510 was this line. This is the next line up. It's 520. This line here would be 530. Remember, it's counting by 10. And the peak is 533. So we did that. We labeled our point A is 520. In which direction does Maple Stream flow? Well, you've got part of a compass rose. So go ahead and finish it off. Let's put in south. And then east and west. Never eat sour watermelons, right? So what direction is this flowing? This direction? That would be southwest. Okay. So draw, what does it say? Draw an arrow on the map showing the direction of the water flow. Well, it's flowing downhill and it's flowing southwest. All right. There you go. Distance from A to B to the nearest mile. Okay, instead of looking at differences in elevation, they're wanting us actually to look at calculating the distance here. Now, I see that, remember, I have to start all the way at the corner because that is where my 0 mark was. Now I'm going to have to do some counting here because this, another color, this would be 6 miles, that point. I'm going to have to go start with 0 again, so this is 6 already. Add this to it, 7, 8, 9, so the total from A to B was equal to 9 miles in distance. Okay? Do you see how we use that?
Taja Rockmore, please report to the front office. Taja Rockmore, please report to the front office. Also, young ladies of Essence, you're meeting in Miss Curry's room, A112. Young ladies of Essence, your meeting is starting right now.
Sorry about that interruption. The next thing is we are looking at what the lowest elevation on the map is. Thanks to our great mapping skills, we've already indicated that. The lowest elevation is 460.
Thursday afternoon duty, please report to your duty station at this time. Teachers, if you have Thursday afternoon duty, please report to your duty post.
Thank you for apologizing this next interruption. So there you go. So lowest elevation 460 feet, right? Below that then is the lake. What else? The contour interval of this map was 10 feet. What is a contour interval? A contour interval is how the lines count, right? What the lines are counting by. That's all. Could be 10, 20, 50, 25, 100, 1,000, depending on the height or the elevation of the mountain. It just depends on the map, too. All right. So if you saw this map, let's say in 15 years, what changes might you expect? And that's one of the questions at the bottom you need to think about. When they ask you something like that, you need to think about weathering and erosion. Remember, there are streams here. They're going to cut deeper valleys into the sides over time and bring with them sediments from the top to the bottom. So there will be changes in the depth of the stream. There will be changes in the peakiness. So over time, ragged peaks tend to be rounded, right, by weathering and erosion. So all of those might be changes you could observe in the future. Thanks for watching.